Part 2. How you doing, Artist N Recovery /RLP? It's 2:55 in the evening, or 2:53 actually. For Monday, the 17th of March, 2025. We're getting past the Leprechaun Day. Thank God. Word of warning: don't eat that canned crap of corned beef. Yeah, that bad. Okay, so we were talking about SNAP benefits. We were talking about chips. We were talking about sodas. No, we haven't talked about sodas, did we? We're talking about junk food, whether or not it's covered or not. We were talking about if we qualify per state and what the guidelines are per state, because they're going to be drawing upon the guidelines that the FDA, if it's still there, or Doge and everything else going on. So once Doge has its filthy paws on everything else goes hell in a handbasket at that point. So, but you were talking about and having an argument with your family of whether or not it's right to be taxed for food, or SNAP benefits, are they available or not? You were having an argument concerning about the benefits and downfalls of it, whether or not people actually deserve to be on SNAP or not, especially when they get limited income, like I do. That's what happens when you're depending upon the kindness of strangers of Social Security at this point for the rest of my life. So, guys, I happen to get a job that I haven't killed myself in yet, and I'm still going to school. And if I keep signing up for the FAFSA, if they still have it, I get school money. But if I don't, I survive on Social Security. That's it. And food stamps allowance. And the allowance, because of the amount of money I'm getting about $20. I have to save that, so I have to use Social Security. So once it gets to a certain point of my food stamps, then I can actually start using some of that. I can go online to Amazon.com and get it. But before I get into that situation, as I left you before in the previous video, I'm doing DoorDash. So I'm going to check out sodas. Now, as I was trying to explain further, I don't do sodas all that much. I rarely. Long time ago, when my brother was still alive, we drank. Not heavily, but we drank. But I drank mostly teas. Brewed my tea. Throw in about 5 or 6 Lipton bags or tea bags into a plastic gallon of milk, jugged water washed out, sterilized. So I'd throw it in there, and I'd throw in about half a cup or more than that of sugar in it, just to get sweetened up a bit. Not to mention dumping in some lemon juices in there, just to get that flavor. And then chill it out. I don't do the powders as much. I don't like the powders. I prefer doing it myself. But when I was drinking sodas, yeah, I did the Coca-Cola a long time ago. I also did Sprite a long time ago. I can also do ginger ale. I can also do root beer. Do that. And mostly I'm doing Gatorade. I'm doing Gatorade and Tang mixtures. Get a flavor going on in that one. So if we're going to be talking about drinks at this point, let's go for the Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola crap. Let me go Coca-Cola first. Sprite. We're checking out whether or not if they're SNAP or not. According to the state of California, according to what Alvarez has been selling, a Sprite bottle, just a 20-ounce bottle of Sprite, it's going for about $3 right now. $3. I didn't say about a single can though. I'm just thinking about a whole bottle. It's SNAP. So the sodas are SNAP. Long time ago they weren't. If you had cash on your food stamp card, if you had cash available, you can get that junk food. But they released the restrictions on it a long time ago. So now we've got junk food on food stamps. Many of you are allowed about maybe $200 or $300 of food stamps. And there was a maximum per county, and depending on your income, if you're getting it or not, of how much food you're going to be getting. You can actually get that. If you had cash on your card, Daryl, on your SNAP card, given or actually lent by your county or by your state, one of those two, you're going to get yourself some fast food. I don't know what they can do here. I know if you had the food on the food stamps, they'll do that. Other than that, they'll take another card if you have cash on it, or they'll take the green. When I was ordering stuff through Amazon and I saw the snap during the COVID, I was getting a bunch of food. I was getting dehydrated crap like crazy. I was getting spam, cans of pineapple, vegetable cans, carrots, peas, mushrooms, medley of them. I would get them because they would last a long time. Sometimes chili and sometimes cans of beans or something like that would last for a little bit. A flat of spam would last me about maybe 3 or 4 months because I'd stretched the thing out. You can only go by spam for so long before you go. So, but yes, through Amazon I was getting the stuff. Is it moral? Is it legal? Is it ethical? It's survival. You've been saying that your family had issues regarding this. You're saying on your video that your family had issues regarding how much money you're getting taken out and people are using it for survivability. Did they ever Were they ever in a situation where they had it a bit dependent upon the kindness of strangers? Where they had to depend upon a state and a county for survival, for the food, and stuff like that? Where you had more than one mouth to feed? I've talked about that many times in my videos, and I'll still talk about it here. So, let's open up the Pandora's box, shall we? At this point, I'd be queuing up the CBS Mystery Theater music on that one. E.G. Marshall. Marshall, talk to me. Just getting it going right now. E.G. Marshall, where are you? Marshall, help. Here we go. Here we go.
Come in. Welcome.
I always love that opening. Oh, memories I could talk about. Actually, I talked about it for a hell of a long while in my other videos prior to that. Probably under the Wind Files I talked about it. But this particular one, dude. Okay. She must be obeyed. Yeah, I gotta get her back. She must be obeyed. So, as I said before, I grew up under food stamps. I grew up under not government housing, but across the street from it. A working mother struggling to feed her kids. When we actually had work coming in, Mama was working. We'd gotten food from the local market. And then she was starting to take care of two elderly ladies, dependent upon the kindness of strangers, which was the state of California, administered the benefits through County of Los Angeles. In the San Fernando Valley, right by the street of Van Nuys, between Roscoe and the railroad, there was a building hiding in a small side street where housed the Department of Social Services over there. Health and Human Services, actually. These guys were the ones that administered the food stamps and the cash aid. And depending on what Mom was doing and taking care of, she had to present. And when she did, they saw. And we'd gotten food stamps. I hated using those damn things. My brother hated using those damn things. But they were survival. And for several years, my family depended upon it. Before they switched over to the cards, we had the paper. You'd go to a place out in North Hollywood, California, along Lancashire, across the street from a restaurant. And then in this bland-looking strip mall was a building where you received them. It was not advertised, nondescript. I mean, it's just, you didn't even know what the hell the building was, except there was a long line of stores at different fronts. And ours, well, you didn't know what the hell it was until you got in there. Long ass line for people to fill out the paperwork. And trust me, during the first week of the month, bureaucracy involved in this one. Trying to get the damn paperwork to get the money and the stamps necessary to survive that month. Then after that, the stores would be invaded. Meat markets would be invaded. Supermarkets would be invaded. And during that time, there was no money for chips, except for the cash aid. And I hope to God you didn't get through it fast enough, because once that was gone, that was it. You had to wait until next month to get more chips. Or sodas, for that matter. And Mom was taking care of two elderly ladies and then took care of my grandmother. So the money was a little bit reduced. And she had to have help from everybody else and the family and friends to help take care of us. Dave went out of the Navy for about a year. No leave, just left. Long stories on my video channel. He had to work, pay for food, and a house, which helped us out a great deal. When she passed away, my brother got into the Navy and did his time and came back out. Hey, you're the one stressing, all right? Yeah, give me a break. Give me a break. Come on. I'm not going back in there, but she's going to call at me anyway. She's a fuss budget. Ma had to go out there and get a job. Bookkeeper, income tax specialist, accountant controller. She was very smart, very dedicated. Because we needed the money, we needed to get the rent paid, and we needed the food and bills paid. And when you got a steady paycheck, you still had to pay back the state and the county. And we did. Took it right out of Ma's checks. But we still had some money left to get grub. It was not until, what was it, when I got out of one particular job. Hang on one second. Sorry about that. Yeah. I also know when I was growing up as a kid of having lunch tickets and nutrition or breakfast tickets. Couldn't afford it. I got the free stuff. There were still complaints about it. Well, hell, when you got a starving kid, nutrition and lunch, and you couldn't afford to get that stuff for your kid. I didn't complain about it in elementary or even junior high. High school, I didn't have to worry about it. I lived a few blocks away from the school, and I had my food. I could fix lunch and come back to school. So I wasn't worried about it for 4 years over at Kennedy High School. But I also learned what it was like to support your own self. Have a job, pay rent, and you had to hold on to your money to support yourself for a short time, before you get paid again. But a lot of things changed when I lost a job back in '06. And I couldn't get anything else after unemployment ran out. I know how that's been like too, living on unemployment for a while. And I had to go to the county and beg for help. I had to. Sucked, but I had to. Family needed it. Didn't say I needed it. Said the family needed it. That's the difference right there, my friend. Dependent upon the kindness of strangers, humiliating, humbling, and bureaucratic minded. God. What was it? Every 4 months we had to fill out one particular form for food, and every 3 months for the cash aid. And we had to keep reporting if we actually had any jobs or anything else going on, and we had to keep the money going that way. Of course, we still had to report that to the state regarding the unemployment as well. When I got a job, then they started doing the garnishments because they wanted their money back. When they got their money back, I was still doing food stamps because the job I got wasn't paying enough for it. I wasn't the only one in the job, dude. I was working at Wally World and they weren't paying enough, even for part-time or even full-time. I was still getting food stamps. I didn't argue. I did not argue about it. Used cards, used money, whatever I had. See, I know what it's like to depend upon the welfare system and how to get through it sometimes. I'm used to it. It's embarrassing, humiliating, humbling, and, it's survival. That's the thing I have to keep in my head, it's survival. I don't care if it's snack food or not. If this is going to keep me alive, if I got my chips in here, actually my cheese or crackers, I recycle these containers a lot. Every time I empty out all these bottles, I wash them out and use them for storage. But a lot of stuff in these things. Of course, it's a lot of room. I still need to make room for them. I'm not saying I'm happy with it. I'm saying I'm doing survival at this point. I don't think the family of yours would understand if you can make that kind of argument. If they're not against food stamps, and I guess this is moot, then I'm sorry about that one. But if they think food stamps is beneath anybody, then they don't know survival. Because they've never been put in that kind of situation before. And I do. I do. Maybe the low man on the totem pole. Yeah, it'd be nice to think about lottery, but you know what? Lottery's a crapshoot. I'm not doing it. Maybe I should have a long time ago. It means I'm taking away resources to make a gamble at this point, and I'm not gambling my life on the damn shit. I'm dealing with the survival aspect of what I'm dealing with. That takes more precedent than just wishful thinking. I tried games before at 12-step meeting halls when they were doing, fun and games. It was fun. But we're talking major, on a consistent basis. People using up their Social Security to see if they can get more money. That's a desperate gamble right there. It's a very desperate gamble. And they would use the rest of their money for it. I'm not going to argue about it. I deal with my own survival right now, and I'm doing. It's the only thing I know is I'm doing. So, we'll talk about it as things. Probably talk about how Trump is screwing things up left and right. Oh, I'm sorry. Trash bag. Trash bag. Not Trump. Trash bag. And mush face. Not to mention the worthless United States Congress And the idiots who are in the Supreme Court. God, we're in trouble now.